happy to join you today at this national conference on the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. The importance of what transpired on 7th July 2019 at the 12th Extraordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Governments of the African Union, held in Niamey, capital of the Republic of Niger, should not be lost on anyone. We're gathered here because of our collective belief in the immeasurable benefits the implementation of the AfCFTA will bring to our nation and to the entire continent of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, when the AU convened an extraordinary summit in 2018 in Kigali, capital of the Republic of Rwanda, on 21st March 2018, to adopt and sign the legal instruments of the AfCFTA, there were many who did not believe African countries were ready to meet the required minimum threshold of 22 member state ratifications needed for the AfCFTA to come into effect. On 30th May 2019, after the minimum threshold was met, with Ghana and Kenya being the first to deposit their instruments of ratification with the AU Commission, the operational phase of the AfCFTA was launched as the agreement had become effective. When you consider the fact that trade between African countries remains low, currently standing at some 16% of our combined GDP, compared to other parts of the world, like the European Union's 75%, it is obvious that these very low levels of intra-regional trade cannot improve our prospects of bringing prosperity to our peoples. A large part of the growth and prosperity that we seek on the continent will come from us trading more amongst ourselves. The coming into force of the AfCFTA means that Africa now has the world's largest free trade area since the formation of the World Trade Organization. The free trade area will cover a market of 1.2 billion people, with a combined GDP of some 3 trillion United States dollars across the 54 member states of the African Union that have signed up to the agreement. It will provide the vehicle for us to trade amongst ourselves in a more modern and sophisticated manner. It will offer a huge opportunity to exploit the abundant wealth and resources of our great continent for the benefit of all our people, and will give us protection in how to deal with other trading blocs. At the Niamey meeting, Ghana was also selected to play host to the Secretariat of the AfCFTA. The first time in our nation's history, we've been given the privilege and responsibility of hosting an important Pan-African institution. In my acceptance speech, after thanking their excellencies, members of the Assembly, for the great honor done Ghana, I indicated that the facilities required for the smooth and efficient running of the Secretariat and a suitable accommodation for the head of the Secretariat are already in place, and that pursuant to the statutes of the AU Commission, the Secretariat will enjoy the relevant privileges and immunities of the international conventions in the area. This national conference is thus timely and key, a commendable initiative by the Minister for Trade and Industry, the impressive Alan Chemating, who led our campaign for hosting the Secretariat with vim and gusto, and who was ably supported by distinguished citizens of this country, such as the first President of the Fourth Republic, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, the second President of the Fourth Republic, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, the Asantehene Otumfuo Tutu II, and others. The campaign was a truly national one, and I'm grateful to all those who contributed to its success. The conference has brought together key stakeholders to discuss the strategies and program interventions required to harness the benefits of the AfCFTA. The coming into force and successful implementation of the AfCFTA ties in perfectly with the vision of moving our country to a situation beyond aid. A self-reliant Ghana that has freed herself from a mindset of dependence, aid, charity, and handouts, and is determined to make intelligent, disciplined use of her considerable resources the basis for her growth and prosperity. This vision can be better realized if we can leverage the trade and investment opportunities the AfCFTA presents. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana, like many African countries, is blessed with an abundance of resources. However, over the years, we have not been able to translate this into the much-needed growth and development we desire, leaving our economy in a fragile and unfulfilled state. In order to maximize the benefits of the AfCFTA and to realize the vision of a Ghana beyond aid, our first order of business must be ensuring the maintenance of macroeconomic stability to facilitate the growth of our economy. Over the last 2.5 years, key economic indicators, which were in disarray prior to my assumption of office, are all pointing in the right direction. We've restored fiscal discipline, and we're managing the economy in a manner that will guarantee pragmatism in mobilizing and deploying national resources. An efficiently managed economy, together with the continuous creation of a business-friendly climate, will be essential towards driving investment, stimulating growth, and creating jobs. Secondly, the structural transformation of the economy has to be accelerated. We're still overly reliant on the production and export of raw materials, and not sufficiently on the things we make and grow. That is why government is fully committed to addressing productive capacity issues through initiatives such as the One District, One Factory policy, the development of strategic anchor industries like the integrated bauxite and aluminum industry, the iron and steel industry, and the vehicle assembly plants, the establishment of industrial parks, and the program for agricultural renewal and enhancement we have dubbed Planting for Food and Jobs. It is this transformation that will give us the best opportunity to derive maximum benefit from our abundant natural resources and from our participation in the AfCFTA, and help bring progress and prosperity to our people, fortified by the deliberate steps we're taking to educate our children to be responsive to the needs of the 21st century world of work. Thirdly, to derive maximum benefits from the AfCFTA, we have to put in place the needed physical infrastructure. Government is investing in trade-related infrastructure in order to facilitate trade. The ongoing expansion of the Tema port, which upon completion will make it one of the biggest ports in Africa, the Takoradi port expansion, as well as the development of numerous road projects and railway networks, are all testaments of government's resolve to leverage new market opportunities on the continent. The overarching aims of the measures to harness the benefits of the AfCFTA are to develop and expand our economy and create sustainable jobs for our youth. When our youth decide to trek the Sahara on foot and brave the stormy conditions of the Mediterranean, it is in search of jobs and opportunities which do not exist in large numbers on the continent. It is estimated that by 2050, Africa will have the largest number of young people in the world. This means that countries, including ours, will have to find sustainable ways of creating jobs other than relying on the limited absorption capacity of public sector employment. To do this, we need the private sector to take advantage of agreements such as the AfCFTA to expand production both in industry and agriculture and take the lead in the socio-economic transformation of our country, as others have done elsewhere. Government has to assist this process by fashioning and implementing a comprehensive set of policies that will empower the private sector to achieve its goal. Appropriate fiscal, monetary, financial, energy, exchange rate, tariff, and non-tariff policies must be coordinated to enable Ghanaian enterprises to be competitive and, where possible, achieve comparative advantage. That is why, since assuming office some 2.5 years ago, the government has moved to strengthen and rationalize the financial sector so that it can support growth in agriculture and growth in manufacturing and industry. That is the rationale for the banking sector cleanup undertaken by the Bank of Ghana. The reforms undertaken by the Bank of Ghana over the last year were not only done to safeguard the savings of depositors, but also to create a vibrant banking sector that can help mobilize resources to finance our industrial, agricultural, and economic transformation. That will be expedited if the discipline in the management of the economy results in declines in interest rates to levels that enable Ghanaian enterprises grow rapidly. Additionally, through the abolition of nuisance taxes, reduction of utility tariffs, the application of digital solutions to address public sector challenges, and the introduction of means to ease doing business in the country, we have succeeded in creating a conducive business climate that is spurring on the growth of the private sector. Indeed, Ghana is now acknowledged as the largest recipient of foreign direct investment in West Africa. Our whole object is to unleash the innovative and entrepreneurial talents of the Ghanaian private sector to drive rapid growth and job creation and take advantage of the opportunities that will be presented by the AfCTC. An important feature of the Ghanaian business environment is the existence of a large number of public enterprises, i.e. state-owned enterprises, SOEs, joint venture companies, JVCs, in which government owns varying degrees of equity, and other state entities, OSEs, whose performances have been largely disappointing. Poor governance practices, financial mismanagement, and unfocused objectives have conspired to render these enterprises ineffective in their contribution to national development. After considerable evaluation, a decision has been made to rationalize, centralize, and strengthen the supervisory and oversight functions of these enterprises to remedy the situation. Government has established by law, Act 990 of 2019, the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, which is going to replace the discredited State Enterprises Commission and the Divestiture Implementation Committee. I'm hopeful that SIGA will strengthen our SOEs, JVCs, and OSEs, promote sound governance and institutional performance, and have them play significant roles in the development of our economy, with the additional aim of being able to tap into the enormous potential the AfCTC will present. Right after this program, I'll be heading to the Kempinski Hotel to launch this all-important authority, whose board, after it is sworn in, will be chaired by a senior, successful, respected figure of the private sector, Mr. Terry Darko, past president of the Ghana Employment Association, and whose director general will be the energetic Stephen Asamoah Boakye. I'm anticipating that both of these personalities and others will help infuse good private sector practices into the management of these public enterprises under their new dispensation. It will also be essential that the regulatory agencies rise to the occasion and be up and doing in the discharge of their duties in order to promote discipline in the activities of the private sector. Institutions such as the Bank of Ghana, the Registrar of Companies, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the National Insurance Commission, and the National Pensions Regulatory Authority must see to the effective regulation and supervision of the entities within their remit. We have seen what the previous failure of regulation led to in the banking sector. The Presidential Fiscal Responsibility Advisory Council headed by an eminent economist and composed of other well-known economists, has been set up to advise the President on how to maintain fiscal discipline and develop and recommend policies for the maintenance of prudent levels of public debt, ensuring that the fiscal balance is maintained at a sustainable level at all times. The goal is to instill discipline in the management of the national economy, engender its resilience, and make our economy one of the most attractive destinations of investment, not only on the African continent, but also in the entire world. To guarantee the realization of the benefits of the AfCFTA, an interministerial facilitation committee, a national AfCFTA coordinating office, a national AfCFTA boosting intra-African trade steering committee, technical working groups, and an independent monitoring and evaluation mechanism will be established. The technical working groups will be established to coordinate support to the private sector under each of the 7 cluster areas outlined in the African Union Action Plan to boost intra-Africa trade, namely trade policy, trade facilitation, productive capacity, trade-related infrastructure, trade finance, trade information, and factor market integration. An independent monitoring and evaluation mechanism will be established to track performance based on key performance indicators. Government is fully committed to the implementation of the AfCFTA. With the collective desire for shared prosperity, we are confident that the AfCFTA will succeed and provide a new impetus and dynamism for the rapid growth of Africa's economies and deepen the process of integration in Africa. Empowered Ghanaian enterprises should be frontline actors of this new exciting journey in Africa's economic history. We owe it to generations unborn to ensure that the biggest trading bloc on the globe, whose outcomes will be rewarding to all and which will assist in attaining the Africa we want, does not falter. Let us work together as stakeholders and strategic partners to resolve the complexities of regional integration whilst ensuring that the implementation of the AfCFTA leaves no one behind. I wish you fruitful deliberations. May God bless Mother Africa and us all, and may God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.